Hi students, this is Mahesh Reddy. In this class I am going to deal about DMA, Direct Memory Access. Already in computer organization we studied about DMA operation and how DMA works. In this class I will again explain the operation of DMA and the structure of DMA in MSP 430. And coming to DMA, Direct Memory Access, you know the DMA controller transfers data from one address to another address without CPU intervention or CPU interaction. Understand? The DMA controller is one which transfers the data from peripheral to memory or memory to memory without CPU interaction. That is called as a DMA controller. And here see, in coming to the operation of DMA, the DMA operation is explained with the help of this block diagram. See here, what are the blocks present here? One is the CPU, DMA controller, memory and peripheral. Here the thing is to transfer the data from peripheral to memory without interaction of CPU using DMA controller. Let us see how this is done. See here, whenever peripheral needs to transfer data, it will request DMA controller through data request signal, saying that it is ready to transfer the data. When DMA controller gets data request signal from peripheral, it intimates CPU that data transfer is there from peripheral to memory. Then what will CPU do? CPU will release all the buses, these are the buses, address bus, data bus and control bus, which are under the control of CPU, and replies to DMA controller to hold acknowledgement signal. What CPU will do? It releases all the buses which are under CPU control and gives all its buses to DMA controller, saying that transfer the data from peripheral to memory by taking buses to your control, to DMA controller, and CPU will simply do its work. Then DMA controller, which gets the access of buses, will transfer data from peripheral to memory without interaction of CPU. Understand? This is a way how DMA controller will transfer data from one location to another location without interaction of CPU. After data transfer completion, again CPU takes the control of buses. In this way, the DMA controller works actually. And coming to DMA in MSP 430, a 3-channel DMA is present in MSP 430 5th generation microcontrollers, as we discussed in Unit 3. See, this is channel 1, this is channel 2, and this one is channel 3. Is represented with channel N. N means it may be 3, 4 or something. As he is giving the block diagram, depending on the highest version, he is representing as N. But coming to 5th generation controllers, MSP 435XX, it is having 3-channel DMA. That means DMA channel 0, channel 1 and remember one thing here, all the channels are same. If you know about one channel, then remaining channels are same. You can draw this one easily. And the registers present in the channels are also same. The same registers are used. Only channel number changes. Here DMA 0, here DMA 1 and here DMA N. And this is your address space where to transfer your data. See here, I will explain the registers present in the channel by taking single channel as reference. I am taking single channel, all the channels are same. And see here, this is DMA channel 0. In this DMA 0 SA. DMA 0 SA, here 0 indicates the channel number. it means DMA SA means source address. DMA source address register. This one. Next one, DMA DA. Here DMA DA indicates DMA destination address. And the next one is DMA SZ. Here DMA SZ indicates DMA channel 0. SZ means size of bytes to be transferred. How many bytes you want to transfer from source to destination. Here source address is there. Here destination address is there. Here size of bytes is there. This amount of bytes are transferred from source to destination address. Here this is DMA DST INCR. DMA destination increment. Incrementing the destination address value. Here DMA destination byte. The byte to be placed in the destination. Next, coming downward, DMA SRC INCR. DMA SRC means source increment. DMA source increment. And this one is DMA source byte, the byte which is to be transferred to the destination. And DMA enable. Here DMA EN means DMA enable. DMA enable signal is one which enables your DMA channel. And coming here, DMA DT. DMA DT indicates DMA data transfer modes. We are having different data transfer modes in DMA in order to transfer your data. These are discussed later. First of all, remember that DMA DT means DMA data transfer modes. And this one is the DMA trigger selection. DMA channel 0 trigger selection. See here, you can trigger your DMA channel from any external sources. These external sources to trigger the DMA channel is selected with the help of DMA trigger selection bits. DMA trigger selection bits. And remember that you are using round robin scheduling here in order to select the channels depending upon the priority. And this is about your DMA registers and signal description as I discussed earlier. DMA SA means DMA channel source address. DMA DA means DMA channel destination address. And DMA size, that means data transfer size. And DMA destination increment, DMA source increment, DMA destination byte, DMA source byte, the DMA enable, DMA data transfer mode, and lastly DMA trigger source selection bits. And coming to address modes in DMA, 4 types of addressing modes are present in DMA data transfers. First one is a fixed address to fixed address. Next one, fixed address to block of address. Next, block of address to fixed address, and block of address to block of address. See here, fixed address to fixed address. In fixed address to fixed address addressing mode, the DMA controller will transfer the data from fixed address location to another fixed address location, to a single address location. From another, the second one is fixed address to block of address. In this addressing mode, the DMA controller will transfer the data from fixed address location to block of addresses to different address locations. Then the third one is block of address to fixed address. In this, it will transfer data from block of addresses or some addresses location to fixed address. The last one is block of address to block of address. In this addressing mode, it will transfer data from block of addresses to some set of addresses. And this is about the addressing modes present in our DMA. And coming to the transfer modes in DMA, totally we are having 6 transfer modes in DMA, which are selected with the help of the DMA DT bits. See, the first one is the single transfer mode. Your DT bits are 000, it is single transfer mode. In single transfer mode, the data is transferred only when there is a trigger from external source. See here, each transfer requires a trigger. In order to transfer data, you require a trigger. If trigger is there means the data is transferred, otherwise the data is not transferred. Here DMA enable is automatically cleared when DMA size have bit, that means all the data is being transferred. That is, If DMA size, the data transfer size becomes 0, the DMA is automatically disabled by clearing the enable bit. The next one is a block of transfer. In block of transfer, a complete block is transferred with one trigger. One trigger, what happens? A complete block of data is transferred, not single transfer. Single byte is transferred. A block of data is transferred. Block of bytes are transferred. Here DMA enable is automatically cleared at the end of the block transfer. The next one is a burst block transfer mode. See here, CPU activity is interleaved with the block transfer. That means the DMA controller does not release the bus to the CPU until data transfer completes completely. That is, in burst block transfer mode, the DMA controller does not give control of buses to CPU until all the blocks of data is transferred from one location to another location. This is known as a burst block transfer. Next one, repeated single transfer. In this mode, the bytes of data is transferred, single byte of data is transferred repeatedly, and each transfer requires a trigger. Here, the DMA enable remains enabled because the single transfer is made repeatedly. It is not disabled here. And then repeated block transfer. In this, a complete block is transferred with one trigger, and DMA enable is enabled. Next, repeated burst block transfer. Here CPU activity is interlude as earlier, but here DMA enable remains enabled. It is not disabled here because here the data is transferred repeatedly. This is about the DMA transfer modes. I hope that you understand about DMA in MSP430 microcontrollers. Thank you. And this is the last topic in your fourth unit. This is not related to DMA. It's just a difference between FRAM versus flash. Just look here what is FRAM and what are some differences between FRAM and flash. We will discuss here. FRAM means ferroelectric random access memory. What is FRAM? FRAM is a ferroelectric random access memory. It is an ultra low power non-volatile memory technology with write speed similar to static RAM. See here, something interesting is that FRAM, RAM. Here RAM means random access memory. Generally you know RAMs are volatile memories. That means RAM will lose its contents when there is no power. The content will be lost in RAM when there is no power. But the speciality of FRAM is that FRAM is a non-volatile random access memory. Non-volatile random access memory means that it can retain its contents on loss of power also. And coming to flash, flash is a non-volatile memory. You know about flash memories as you are using in your mobile phones. Your memory cards are flash memories. Your pen drives, what you are storing data are also flash memories. Here we see some differences between FRAM and flash. First, coming to FRAM. FRAM, as I said, FRAM is a non-volatile memory. That is, it retains its contents on loss of power also. Coming to flash, flash is also non-volatile memory that can be electrically erased and reprogrammed. And coming to FRAM, FRAM is a true random access memory, they said. Here, as it is random access memory, the memory is not segmented. That is, the memory is not divided into separate memory blocks. But in flash, the memory is segmented. That is, memory is divided into separate blocks for data storage and code storage and for stack something. And coming to speed, the typical write speed of FRAM is 2 Mbps. And coming to flash, it is low compared to FRAM. The write speed is 14 kbps. And coming to FRAM write axes are extremely low power. With low power, you can write the data into the FRAM. But coming to flash write axes are not extremely low power. It takes somewhat high power compared to FRAM in order to write the data. And see, in FRAM, the data writes can be performed across the full voltage range of the device. But here in flash, the writes cannot be performed across the full voltage range of the device. These are the some of the differences between FRAM and flash memories. Thank you for listening.